Assalamualaikum. We are from group number 4. Today we will going to present about functions. Okay, now I am going to introduce our group member. Number 1 is Vini Shri, anak perempuan M Gobalasari Nen. Number 2, Nur Hidayatul Najla binti Hasan and Syabil Hazid bin Syarudin. Okay, first of all, throughout this presentation, I will first introduce what a function is and explain the different type of functions. After that, I will explain function declarations and function definitions, followed by how function calls and returning values work. Okay, finally, I will discuss local and global variable and explain their scope within a C program. Okay, I will start with what is a function. Okay, a function is a block of code that is designed to perform one specific task within a program. Instead of writing the same code repeatedly, a function allows us to rewrite the code once and reuse it whenever needed. Functions can receive input through parameters, process that input and return output in the form of a value. Okay, this makes function a fundamental tool for organizing complex programs into smaller, more manageable parts, which improves program structure and clarity. Okay, next I'm going to explain why do we use functions. First, there are several reasons why functions are widely used in programming. First, function reduce rote repetition. This means we only need to write a piece of code once and can use it multiple times throughout the program. Second, function improve readability because each function perform one clear and specific task. Third, function simplify debugging since error can be isolated and fixed within a specific function. Okay. In addition, functions facilitate teamwork as different programmers can work on different functions at the same times. Okay, now I'm going to explain about structure of a C programming. A typical C programming consists of several important components. First, header files such as stdio.h and math.h are included to provide built-in functions and definitions. Next, global variables may be declared if they need to be accessed by multiple functions. After that, function prototypes or declarations are written before the main function to inform the compiler about the function. The main function serves as a starting point of a program execution. Finally, user-defined functions are written to perform specific tasks outside the main function. This structure helps create a well-organized and efficient program. Okay, lastly, I'm going to talk about function concept. Function may have two important roles. The first role is returning a value to a function that call it. The second role is producing side effects, which are actions performed by the function even if no value is returned. Both roles are important and commonly used in programming. For returning a value, some function returns a value using the return statement. When a function returns a value, it sends the result of compulsion back to the calling function. This return value can be stored in variable and used in further calculation. Returning value allows function to perform meaningful operation and provide results that are essential for program logic. For the side effect, function can also perform side effects, which mean they carry out action other than returning values. Example of side effects include printing out to the screen, modifying global variables, or calling other functions. Even if a function does return a value, it can still be very useful. For example, the printf function is used to display output to the user, even though it does not return a value.
So next we're going to learn about type of function. We have two different type of function, which is predefined function and user-defined function. For predefined function, is already written in the header file in C language developer. So the programmer just need to know how to use it. So to make sure the function, the programmer must include the header files in the function. Next is user-defined function. Programmer create this to perform custom tasks, to simplify complex logic and avoid repeating codes. So to use this type of function, programmer has to call the function, but the function must be declared first before use. So there are three different type of user-defined function, which is function declaration, function definition, and function call. Function declaration, it tells the compiler what the function looks like before it used. So basically it is placed before main or in header files. It consists of return type, function name, and formal parameter list. For function definition, it has two parts, which is function header and function body. For function header, it contains three types, which is return type, function name, and formal parameter list. For the return type of value will be written by function. Type of expression in return statement must match the return type in function header. So for function name, value identifier used to name the function. For formal parameter list, it define and declare variable. For function body, it contain declaration and statement. It start with local definition that specify variable required by the function. Next, we're going to learn about function call. The operand in function call is the function name. The operator is the parent set, which contain actual parameter. Formal parameter are variables that are declared in the header of the function definition. Actual parameter are the expression in ceiling statement, and the formal and actually parameter must match exactly in type, order, and number. So there are examples that you can see.
Now I'm going to explain about local variables. The local variables declare inside a function's body and can only be used in that particular functions. It declares a local variable with the same name multiple times in different non-nesting blocks in a function. Declare a local twice in nested blocks. They have the example of local variables. They have two types of local variables. The first one is legal and the second one is illegal. It is illegal to declare I in two non-nesting blocks. The second one is it is illegal to declare I in two nesting blocks. They have legal and illegal of example. For the global variables, declare outside all functions and are accessible to all functions in the scope. The global variables are defaults to 0 and persist for the entire program's duration. The example of global variable int counter equals to 0 semicolon symbol. The next one is static variables. Static variables desirable to retain the value stored in local variables. It retains their values between calls, and the static variables are permanently allocated in the memory of the lifetime of the program. And it's to declare a static variable, use the static word. For the example, static int count equals to 0 semicolon symbol, count plus semicolon symbol. The next one is variable scope summary. They have four types of scope. The first one is global, is accessible everywhere. The second one is local, is inside one function. The third one is block, within, left and right curly brace. And the fourth one is persist after exist. There I include a simple diagram showing the scope levels. The next one is returning values. The return statement sends a value back to the caller. The rules is only one return value per function. The second one must match the function's return type. And the third one is ends execution immediately. What is a void function? A void function is a function that does not return any value, but it still performs a task. Key point uses the keyword void, no return statement with a value, used when you only want to display output or perform an action. For example, the function prints hello on the screen. It does not send any value back to the main program. The next one is pass by value. What is pass by value? The pass by value is in C, variables are passed by value by default. This means the function receives a copy of the variable, not the original one. The key point is only a copy is passed. Changes inside the functions do not affect the original variable. And it's safer, but cannot modify the original data. For the example, if x equals to 5, inside the functions it becomes 6. Outside the functions, the original value is still 5. You don't want the original value to change, but it's performing the calculations only. The next one is pass by address. What is pass by address is uses pointer to send the memory address of a variable to a function. The key point is uses pointer, asterisk, and symbols. Allow direct modification of the original variable. Very important in C programming. Example, the function accesses the original variable. If the value was 5, it becomes 6 everywhere. We need to modify original value, and it's working with arrays, and it returning multiplies value from a function. What is recursive function? The recursive function is a function that calls itself to solve a problem. It breaks a big problem into smaller or similar problems until it reaches a stopping point. They have two important points of recursion. The first one is base case. Is the condition that stops the function from calling itself and prevent infinity looping. The second one is recursive case. The part where the function calls itself. Without a base case, the program will run forever and crash. Recursion example. Factorial formula 4 equals to 4 times 3 times 2 times 1 is equals to 24. How it's work? The function keeps calling itself stop when n double equals to 0. The final answer will be 24. And why we need to use recursion functions? It's to make code shorter and cleaner, easy to use for repeating problem, and the last one is useful for factorial, Fibonacci series, tree structure, divide and conquer problem. The summary of the recursion function is a function that calls itself and stops when it reaches a base case.